Uh, Today we're going to talking about is a Oracle RAC system, RMAN database cloning. For the RAC system cloning, there is some difference with the single database cloning, but actually it's not really hard. We'll start from beginning. The only things we need to catch up is what is the difference between the RAC cloning or the single database cloning. If you see the RAC systems, people are confused. There's too many things. You have your whole system set up, scan IPs, public IP, private, VIP. Also have an ASM. It's the file you really not like before, you can see it easily. And the system here is generally we're talking about the cloning, which part we need to modify, we need to change. Right? So let's see, we have the system. For example, if I was server node, right, and then connect to database, which is on ASM, and also we should have the shared storage, which is we're using for the backup. The system is we are going to play with the file system here. If you see the one node, we install those three things: database home, ASM, also a grid home. This is a cluster home, right? So the cloning, if you as the Oracle professional, you already know the cloning is very easy. If you're using the single database, you just using duplication command, duplicate from one database to another. Right? In RAC system, what's the difference between RAC and a single instance? We're going to deal with here is the same thing. First, we isolate this node 1. We're doing everything node 1, just like a single database system. And then we do need one backup because using RMAN, we restore database from the backup. When you restore it, put every file in ASM. That's the real system. So first isolate this whole system just using this part, and then you cluster again. If you have two nodes, in this case we're going to talk about these two nodes. You just connect another node to this, the duplicate database. Basically, job is done. For the high level, if you see here, well, source system, right? We have node 1 or 2. We have two instances, seeds 1, seed 2. The database name is seeds. Database storage on ASM. Backup storage is file system. And then the target system will be exactly the same. We use the same RAC systems. Only thing is the database name difference, and then instance name, they are different. So we try to duplicate this database, target database, from this one. The difference between the single database cloning is on the RAC, like I said before, the first you decluster, make it like a single instance. And then this is a step we're using to duplicate the single database, not RAC. Just use the same thing to duplicate it. When you're done it, you cluster this database, target database, to the RAC system, and then it became the RAC database, cluster database. So the detailed procedure we're going to talk about one by one. Here is the procedure we're going to. First one, decluster. How we do it? We create one initial the files. The files we can create it from the source database. When you create it from source database, you replace everything to the new your database name or instance name, but we comment out everything related to your instance, like one or something, comment out everything. Here is the key. Cluster database equals true. We comment out this one because our setup data, this cluster database default is false, so it pick up. And then everything related to the instance, we comment out the red part. Later, we'll keep this file. We're still using this file when we try to cluster this restored database to RAC. We're still using this file. Later, I'll show you how we do it. The next one, because we're using backup to restore database, we're not going to use an active database to restore database. We need to create one for the source database, see the database, make the backup for it. I'm not going to give any detail here, but I think for work or professional, they have anyone have their own script to do it. It's no big deal. We need a 3-part. One is control backup, another one archive backup, also the data file backup. As long as we have 3 of them, we can restore them to the database. The next one, we are going to create one SP file for this job, for RMAN duplication job. How do we do it? On the server node 1, we set up environment, this instance, to the BAND1. Our database name is BAND. Okay, instance name is BAND1. We did this one. We already have then the files, comment out everything related to your node, your instance, right? So by doing this way, we create one file. Say we start mount this one, no mount, right? When we start this one using this file we created, and then the instance should be up. The next one, we're going to create SP file. We're pulling ASM from this file we created. The next one, we do another command called create SP file from P file. People are confused why we are doing this. Why we're doing it. We already have this one, right? But it's different. When you do this one, what happens is not going to, override these files. What they're doing is they create one local file, SP file bnd1.ra on the local server, not ASM. This file we're going to use to do the cloning. The reason is later I will show you the error we're running into, because this one file will try to override the one file created by the duplication. That causes our issues. Okay. Well, we got this SP file already, so next one, we're going to create our RMAN duplicate script. The project we are doing this one is a special project, is requested by the developer team because they lost something in the new database. They lost something, so they want to restore database to 2 days before. In that case, we'll have to use called a point in time restore, which is duplicated to a certain time. How do we get this one? Get SN where we're going to restore to, right? We use this SQL code. And then the output will be something like this. And you can choose according to the information, which SCN number you're going to use. If you want to restore this time, you can choose this one, right? This is how we get SCN number, pick up one. Next one we create, we got SN number. The script is very simple because we are using RMAN database, repository database. Here, we're not using control file as a repository. So when we connect 3 things. One is a source database. Another one is RMAN repository database. Also, auxiliary. This one is the database, target database we're going to use. The rest part will be easy. The command we're using is the duplicate target database to what we want this database name. And then the SN number we picked up, restore this time. When we got this one, right, we need to use, because when you're running the duplication, then usually your no mount database, you're doing duplication. If you restore database, you probably need to start up a mount. So this is a small difference, but no big deal. Running the command will be easy. On the Unix or Linux, you're just running RMAN. Call your script, you can put in the log file. If everything is okay, the big really long list of log file. If everything is fine, you are going to see this one. And then the final message you got in database open. That's meaning it's done. Until now, we decluster the target database, what we needed to restore, right? Also, we restored it. By now, it is a single database instance. Single database is not RAC. This is the next part. We're going to clustering this database to be the RAC database, cluster database. The first things we have to do is to create a redo log for another instance. The command using here is very easy. The only things never forgot, put your thread, which was second thread, right? 2 and use it. Finally, the database enable public thread. You can put many group you want for the redo. Actually, in our system we have 10 of them, and the size will be like 200 meg each. In this, I just try to show you what you need to do for minimum. For 2 group will be fine. When you got this one, in some cases, if you really convert single database, say like from file system to RAC, then single database do not have enough undo table space. You need to create one for your second node, second instance. After doing this one, we start try to clustering the database, B, A, and D. What we do is we create one for the B, A, and D1 instance from the file we already had before. Right? We copy this one, we got this file. When we got this file, what we needed to do is that, the red part, I will show you, it is coming out. We needed to remove the sign, the pound sign there. But another thing we have to do is, because many times we are using that one, the control file inside, name is different. When you restore database, the first one you restore new control file, you change the control file. To get what is new control file, show parameter control, you're going to find this guy. So this information we needed to create this instance initial file. The next thing should be really easy. You see here, it used to be a common art, right? By now, everything just like before, without any the instances here, and then the cluster database become true. Also, we modify the control file. When we did this one, this file is ready for clustering for the new target database we created. The next one, create SP file in SM. Things will be similar, but we set up environment pointed to our instance, which is the BA and D1. Remember, the instance name is BA and D1, but database name is the BA and D. This is difference. When we got this one, we set up environment or shut down it. We create SP file. SP file from the P file. Which P file they're going to get is the one we create because we set up this one, right? So SP file they're looking for will be init band1.ora. By this one, we create one in here, that is in ASM. We create this SP file in ASM. When we got this one, now we already have SP file in ASM. We do not need this specific this one anymore, like before. What we do is we modify this file. We use VI editor, remove everything's file. The files now including only one line. Indicate where is your SP file. When we create this file on the node 2, instance 2, we create this one file exactly same like this one. Same line there. Now we have two node, two instances. They have their own initial files. The initial files point to the same SP files. If you start the instance will be looking for where to find the file, what is information for it. They're going to look into in our ASM data, this file SP file bnd.ora. So basically we already set up everything, but we still something needed to do this because our system we do not change anything. We already did this one before, putting the etc ORA tab. The next one, we're running this command. This command generally, it is a regest. It is a regest the RAC database. And then we started. So in order to do this, right, we shut down database first because we already started one instance. Let's do this one, stop database -d. Everything stopped, right? When they stop, everything the database stop, the next one, we end this database. Register. Also, we indicate or add an instance. 1. Another node, for instance, 2. You can run in this one. Node 1, node 2. But you're running it on the one node is fine. Yeah. When we finish one, we don't need this file created before. We don't need it anymore. We remove this file. Now we can start database. We're using srvctl start database -d database name. The database is going to start it. And then you can check the standards to see what is standards for database, right? So basically that's the procedure we're going to do. Clustering the database to be the RAC database, cluster database. Until now it's done. The several issue we run into when we do this project is we're showing here. The first one I remember I talked to, that is the database start beginning without created SP file, for instance. What happening is we got this error. We try to duplicate the database to the BND, but however, this set is they try to find everything is a seed, is a source database. What's the problem? So we check the problem is SP file here. It pointed the seed, source database. For some reason, why RMAN did this is the bug. If you go work or go find one paper about it. So it's a solution we're doing. We create this one just like I told you before. Follow this one, create everything, right? And then create this one. When we create this file, this specific file was created on local server. And then duplication is not going to overwrite. It is using this one to do the work. This is a solution for the issue first one we run into. The second issue we have is there's no backup copy control file. They cannot restore the control file. The reason what it is, we don't know, because the develop team asked us to restore database 2 days ago database. They want to restore it in that time, 2 days before. But however, we cannot get it. And we're looking for a reason why. And then finally we find in our RMAN system, redundancy configured is number 1. What does that mean? That means the RMAN is going to make one backup, delete everything, one day by day. That's why we only have 1 day's backup file. We do not have the other one. So this is a big problem for us. So we even can not do what the developer team asked for. Try to restore database 2 days before we do not have backup. It's gone. So the only things for the solution for it, nothing we can do. Only thing is to make a backup, new backup, restore it. So because of this, we learned some lessons, and then it's how it's set up, we do not know. But in the future, we're going to dealing with it, modify this to be 7 days. The third issue we're running into. The third issue is weird, because like a second issue, right? They cannot find a copy because there's no copy. But this one, it looks like there's some files missing, but not all of them. What is the problem? We don't know what it is. Then finally, we find we have the duplication field before, right? Twice. And then the duplication create control file. That control file will point to before, and then they're using different control files before. So that one is in the ASM. We didn't check about it. So what we tried, we go to log in the ASM CMD, just the tools, and then we check what we have. We go here, find the control file, the data file, and go to control file. We saw this guy's cast issue because this one mismatch with what backup we have. The control file inside looking for something old, but the new backup is not consistent with it. We're just guessing. So what we did is we remove the control file, remove the data file directory, restart it. It succeeded. So this is a solution. So far is in this job we will run into 3 issues, and then we were able to find a solution for it. Basically, that's today's topic. Hopefully, it will be help you if you sometimes need a RAC job done. This is generally is the very basic, regular database tasks for Oracle DBA. Dealing RAC is probably sometimes people have a chance to deal with, but not always. Hope they help you. Thank you for watching. Bye.